What up, YouTube? So it occurred to me, I've had this car, I got this car early October. I've had this car for almost 10 months now. And I come across just some weird nuances, which, you know, just living with the car on a day-to-day basis, you find weird little things. This is my first and probably only 6th gen Camaro, and I put together a list of 5 weird things about this car. Kind of want to talk about them, so let me get set up here and we'll get this thing going. This list started off, it's going to be, my number 5 is going to be something that you would think would be so obvious, but when you approach the car, it's going to be these wide hips. And if you notice what I'm talking about when I say the wide hips, it's you know, I don't know if you can see how the front fenders kind of bowed out, but the quarter panels on this car are insanely wide. And you'll see, as if I can get, like, you'll see how, like, the cab goes in, the cabin shape goes in, and then the quarter panels go out, and that's going to give it that whole freakish look or weird look of how they get so many style lines going so many different ways. When you go to wash the car, it's strange seeing like bugs splattered down the side of your car, because like I said, the quarter panels just cut out so far into the air that, you know, you'll see like bug guts just stretched, like, you know, maybe you got 3 inches of bug guts smearing everywhere. Here, I'll show you. They're so wide that I don't know if it will show up, but you can see like the clear bra or the 3M masking film, you know, PPF kind of film that they put from the factory. It's all that stuff coming straight back. After putting some miles on the car and experiencing some of that, I thought it was kind of weird. Whatever it takes to get the 305 stuff under there, I'm good with. Okay, number 4. It's something strange I haven't seen in a long time, but if you'll notice, wait for it to expose here, the gas pedal hinges at the bottom. So typically your average gas pedal would have like the quadrant or the little box that it's connected to, and it would hinge from the top, and it would work just like this brake pedal or this clutch pedal. But the gas pedal is actually hinged at the bottom. Now, some people might argue that that's good and it's easier to heel toe that way, and I would agree, but it throws you off the first time, because like when I first bought the car, I was figuring out like why, you know, the movement of the pedals and trying to, you know, heel toe manually, and I couldn't quite figure it out until the first time I was cleaning my car, and then I noticed, I was like, holy crap, it hinges at the bottom. It's pretty cool. I'm happy that it does. You get used to it, and once you learn the movement and the length of the pedal, I wouldn't necessarily say it makes it easier, but it's just an adjustment that you have to make. All right, number 3 is definitely gonna be, as I said before, let's see if we can't get the cab, or the cabin, I should say. Cab's on a truck, I'm sorry. As you can see, the cabin shape, you can see the style lines like of the quarter panels, how they cut in, but it's almost teardrop shaped. I think that the Camaro has actually taken on like a lot of the characteristics and styling cues that the C7 Corvette left off. It's starting to take on, I'll have to check out the 5th generation to see if it does the same thing, but it definitely like dives in way, as you can see, this orange, I don't know if it's really the best color to show it, but as you can see the style lines, how it dips out, it tapers and dramatically flares out further and further. But the third weirdest thing on this car that I have noticed after living with it is if it rains, if it sprinkles, if it mists or whatever, you have to roll the windows up because of the way that the cab is shaped. The rain will automatically go straight in and it blasts the back seat. It doesn't really look like that straight on of a shot, but it just freaking hoses it. It started to rain and I just grabbed my phone and turned around and snapped a quick picture. I don't know if I've deleted it or not, but if I have it, I'll put it up now. But that was at the beginning of a rainstorm. So I grabbed that picture just to show you it's a quick example of exactly where it rains. Also, dust blows in. The back gets just as dirty as the front in this car. It's a little strange, but it's good because, I mean, it forces you to clean the entire car when, you know, it should be done anyways. The second thing on my list is definitely, I don't know whether you want to call it like personalities or whatever, but when I start the car up each individual time, and I put it in the same modes and I go through the same routine and the same startup ritual, the characteristics of I put it in track mode every time just to kind of get the most responsive steering and the throttle response, and just it keeps the car sharp, and I'm just used to driving it that way. But every time that I start up the car and I put it in track mode, it's always a little bit different. The burbles come in at a different time. The throttle response is just a little bit different. I can't narrow down a common denominator, so it has to be the car. But other 6th gen Camaro owners, tell me if you experience the same thing, because it's just a little bit different. Sometimes the car's a little lazy, other times it's bang on. Like if I'm sitting at a drive-through or whatever and I shut the car off because, you know, just sitting there idling, this thing loves gas. And if I turn it back on and I go to take off, it's different. I mean, the throttle response is different, just the way the car behaves. I don't know what's going on. Hopefully when my warranty miles are up and everything from GM is done, and I get this car tuned, if I put it on the dyno and get it tuned, hopefully that goes away. But I don't know if it's just SS models or if it's the 4-cylinder, 6-cylinder V8, supercharged V8. I'm not sure if it's all the trims up, but if you daily drive this car, you will notice it. What it takes, especially I think manual cars, but I've noticed that I can downshift at, you know, certain RPMs, and I know it's a certain, you know, you just watch up the heads-up display, and I can downshift at the same speed, the same everything, and the car reacts differently almost every time. It's a little strange, but I would like to get it figured out. If, like I said, if anybody else has the same problem, definitely hit me up. Okay, last but not least, the one thing that I have noticed that is bizarre on this car, and it's not really narrowed down to this car specifically, but just one thing I've noticed of all the cars I've had in the past leading up to this car on a performance wise is the electric assist in the power steering. It's weird. It's I hate it, but I understand why it needs to be on there. I understand why GM did it. If you look, I don't know, I'll find out the exact size, but by the time I put this video up, I'll put the exact size on the screen. But I believe that these rotors are 15 inches, and they got the 6-piston Brembo brakes. You got 285 wide tires with 20-inch. Now, 20-inch wheels, 285. I believe it's a 10-inch wide rim up front. I'm not sure, but that's a ton of weight. That's a ton of, I wouldn't say really sprung unsprung weight, but it's definitely a bunch of sprung weight on the chassis. In order to get the steering dialed in and as sharp as it is, it takes a lot of power and a lot of strength to move that stuff, especially when you have that kind of lateral G-force going on. So I'm very happy that the car handles the way it does. It's amazing. But the one thing that I've noticed is you can like put your fingers on the back of the steering wheel, and when you're driving down the road, it just totally numbs out the steering altogether. When I first got the car and I noticed exactly how it was driving, and I knew something was off, but I was so used to, like I said in what was it, and I think picking out the best tires for my for this car, liquids don't compress like gases do. You know, like an air compressor, you know, squishes air, crunches it in. They don't compress. So in the older days, you know, the 90s, 2000s, you know, all the way up to, you know, mid 2000s, you know, you would have that hydraulic pressure behind in those lines, and you would actually be able to feel what the front tires were doing. You would actually be able to feel all that, what they called feedback, and it's totally gone in this. And like I said, it's an adjustment, and you kind of have to feel the chassis. You know, it's a good thing that these cars are as stiff as they are, because you can kind of feel it through your butt now, and you kind of feel it through your feet on the floor, and just, you know, kind of the characteristics of what the car does and how the body rolls and all that. So you adapt and you change, but it's still not as good as like back in the day of when you could feel like the steering wheel, you got feedback from everything. And now that the steering's numbed out, it kind of sucks. It takes away from the driving experience, but you know, it's a trade-off. You get the big brakes, you get the big tires, you get the big wheels, you get all that stuff, and you still get the minimal effort of steering. It's just, your feedback's gone now. That's my 5. Tell me what you think. 5th gen Camaro owners, step in. I want to hear if any of this is really prevalent in the 5th gen Camaro. Nonetheless, as much as I've had to adapt to driving this car, because I daily drive this car, I still love it, and you just get used to those weird things, but it's no big deal. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys are having a great day. Don't forget to subscribe, give this thing a big like, and we will definitely see you guys on the next one. Later.